Let us start the chapter 2 of auditing paper 6 of our CA Inter Audit Strategy, Audit Plan and Audit Program. Now, what is audit strategy, audit plan, and audit program? My dear, we are discussing this chapter very detailedly, and these are my notes which I have prepared personally. Only the content of ICM material has been used in a cut short manner and in an easy manner to understand and to study during the examinations and score marks in it. Now, let us try to understand each and every important questions what will come from chapter 2. In the same process, we will also understand the concept. Let us start. Question number 1 we are discussing here is discuss various aspects to be considered while developing the audit plan. So, discuss various aspects to be considered while developing the audit plan. See, every auditor, while performing his respective audit assignments, will definitely prepare a plan to execute his auditing. It is plan is made for each and every small thing also, my dear students, in the current world. For example, you all want to go for a picnic or a vacation. Definitely you will not go like just like that. You will make a perfect plan, right? While going, how to book tickets, okay, when to book tickets, what clothes to be packed, how much shopping to be done, how much budget is there, etc. Planning you will do. So for vacation, how plan is important, don't you think? For audit, how much plan is plays an essential role? Definitely, as an auditor, you have to think that before attacking, it means before going for an audit, you need to plan out what you have to plan, how much resources you require, human resources you require, how much audit staff you require, how much time you require, okay, so etc things you need to plan. What are the audit procedures to be performed, you need to plan out. So first question is very important question. Discuss various aspects to be considered while developing the audit plan. So while developing an audit plan as an auditor, what are the aspects I should keep in the mind while preparing audit plan? Here we go. Answer is auditor shall plan his work to conduct audit effective and efficiently. E&E means effective and efficiently, and the following aspects shall be kept in mind. First one is knowledge of a client's business is necessary before developing the audit plan. So before developing the audit plan, don't you think you need to get a necessary knowledge, requisite knowledge of the client's business for which you are going to do the audit? Yes, obviously. To prepare an audit plan, bacho, okay, to prepare an audit plan, the first and foremost thing you need to know is having the knowledge of the client's business. What is the nature of his business, what are his operations, what are is the scale of operations, okay na, etc things before planning out an audit plan. So knowledge of a client's business is necessary before developing the plan. I will give an example for this point why the knowledge is very much important. Okay, okay, for example you are an auditor and you are performing an audit. You have not obtained the knowledge and just like that you want to perform an audit. If you are performing just like that, you cannot able to understand the inherent risks of the business. Sir, what is inherent risk? You will definitely learn about in chapter 4 risk assessment. What is inherent risk? See, inherent risk is nothing but generally all knows it, but this is a technical term I'm using. Inherent risks, see, nothing but see, there is a one person who is running a business. Don't you think some kind of risk is shall be there in his business? Yes, obviously. In the whole world, whoever is running the businesses, whatever organizations are performing the businesses, in each and every business there are some sort of inherent risks, my dear students. Okay na? Yes, inherent risk is situated in each and every business. So, without knowing such a nature of business, you cannot identify what are the inherent risks which are okay na, related to such a business. Then you definitely may not okay properly perform the audit, and hence knowledge of client's business is necessary before developing the plan. Okay na. Second one is after obtaining the knowledge of client's business, okay, before developing the plan, we have to now start developing the plan. Now plan covers below four aspects, my dear students. Here we go. Okay, plan covers below four aspects. Okay, plan covers below four aspects. Aspect number one is knowledge of a client's accounting system, policies, and internal control system. So whatever plan you are drafting before performance of audit, you need to plan, you need to plan about how to check the client's accounting system, policies, and internal control. In order to check client's accounting system, his different procedures and policies and internal control system, first you need to obtain the knowledge. You need to obtain the knowledge. Excellent, my dear students. So knowledge, so we have to prepare a plan which covers what is the process, what is the process you need to adopt in order to gain knowledge about the client's accounting system, policies, and internal control. You may ask the question, so why only about in accounting system, policies, and internal control system? I'll tell you the answer. See, as an auditor, you are doing the audit of what? Sir, you are doing the audit of financial statements, financial information. So, all the financial information is dependent upon which? Yes, obviously, it is dependent upon the accounting system used by the client. Accounting system is, you know, in the current world, there are many accounting softwares like Tally, SAP. SAP is an actual ERP. Okay, so these systems, how accurately they are processing the data, okay na, they are how they are following the applicable laws and regulations, and maintaining the accounting books of accounts properly. To know that, definitely we need to check the accounting system, and hence before checking you need to obtain the knowledge of the client's accounting system. So why then policies? See, policies are nothing but here accounting policies. See, for different types of businesses, there are different types of accounting policies shall be applicable. Accounting policies are nothing but the alternatives available as per accounting standards. Okay na, and the appropriate one shall be selected. For example, depreciation. Okay na, for depreciation we have many methods. All methods are called as accounting policies, but we'll adopt only one, whatever statute says. In Companies Act, it says us to follow straight line method, that is SLM method, but whereas income tax advises us to use only WDV method, that is a written down value method or diminishing balance method. Okay, so these are called as accounting policies. So these accounting policies adopted by such business is applicable or not appropriately, and they are following consistently or not. First we need to obtain the knowledge about it. And internal control system, as I all know, in every business some sort of inherent risk will be there, and to mitigate such inherent risk, it is the responsibility of the management of such a business to place internal controls. So internal controls are nothing but the system which works against the inherent risk. See, it is not like that we are placing internal controls then 100% inherent risk are mitigated. No, 100% never risk is mitigated, but up to certain extent we can give a reasonable assurance, not absolute, reasonable assurance that it will be got mitigated. So knowledge of a client's account. Please, Nana, I am saying to please okay by heart it these 4 points, because it has been asked in the examinations many times. They will ask what are the aspects to be covered in the plan, right, for 2 marks or 3 marks. Okay, so or 4 marks. So you need to please try to by heart it at the same time. Yes, concept understanding also very very important. So point number one is plan covers which aspect. Point number one is knowledge of clients accounting knowledge of clients accounting system, comma, policies and internal control system. Knowledge of clients accounting system, comma, policies and internal control system. Repeat after me. Okay. Yes, sir. First one over. Now, what is the second aspect which an audit plan must cover? The second aspect which an audit plan must cover is determining extent of reliance on client's internal control system. So, in the first aspect, you have obtained the knowledge of internal control system placed by the management. Superb, excellent. Now, in the second aspect, after obtaining the knowledge of client's internal control system, the auditor, that is ourselves, we need to determine the extent of reliance on client's internal control system. And see, you have obtained the knowledge of the client's internal control system. Yes or no? Yes. Now, as an auditor, you are an expert of financials. You need to make a judgment whether the particular kind of internal controls placed by the management are really strong enough to mitigate inherent risk, are really relevant to such related inherent risk or not. On based upon such judgments, you need to determine extent of reliance on client's internal control system. Sir, why it is very much important to determine the extent of reliance? See, if for example you are an auditor, you gone for an audit, you have obtained the knowledge of internal control system, and you have a assessor that the internal control system of the management are strong, then reliance on internal control system will be definitely high. When the reliance on internal control system by you is high, then you will do less auditing. And for example, there are 100 transactions in a population, internal controls are very effective, then you will check only little transactions in, will take only some transactions as sample, maybe 10 or 20. Maybe 10 or 20, maybe 10 or 20. But for example, vice versa example, when the internal control system are weak, okay, or you will or after obtaining the knowledge you think that they are weak, then out of 100 transactions you will try to check at least 40 or 50 transactions, because you don't have confidence upon internal control system, and there might be chance of any fraud or error in the transactions, and hence your checking will be increased. Sir, why not 100 transactions I can check? See beta, 100 transactions I gave only example. In the daily life, when you will go to the audit, for example, you went for an audit of a bank, you only say per second how many transactions will incur, per second nearly lakhs of transactions will incur. You only say over a 12 months period transaction can you able to check? No, only a certain sample of transaction you can check. Such sample, how much extent it should cover, that depends upon the extent on reliance on client's internal control system, and hence it is also very very important. Now third point is determining NTE means nature, timing and extent of audit procedures. First I will explain the word audit procedures. Okay na bacha? So audit procedures is nothing but the action or the methods used by the auditor in order to obtain audit evidence. Okay na? Audit evidence is nothing but a proof. I will explain in a small example, you will definitely try to understand. If I am the partner of an audit firm and you are my audit staff, okay, then I am allocating you a work of, please do the audit of inventory and come. What did I just say? Please do the audit of inventory and come. So you went to the inventory place and started doing the audit. So what you will do now? See, I have said that the internal controls place related to inventory is high, okay, and the checking need to be done by you is very less, okay. Now what you will do, the and already the valuation of inventory is done. So inventories are many, suppose there are 1000 inventories, only sample you will take, as the internal controls are strong, and the reliance is more, then you will check a little bit less sample. For example, you are checking out of 1050 okay na. Now on that 50 you will check whether the valuation is proper or not, okay na, whether on such inventory the management has the right to sell or not by seeing the purchase deed, okay, and etc things. So what you are doing here, you are obtaining evidences relating to what, relating to the existence of the inventory. That is one assertion. You are obtaining audit evidence, a proof relating to the valuation that it is correct or not bulky. So that is called as audit procedures, the action you are doing in order to obtain audit evidence, that the particular assertions are accurate or not. That is called as audit procedures. So determining nature, timing and extent. Nature, timing and extent means, nature means what kind of audit procedures I have need to perform, only a general audit procedures or a complex one. Timing means when I need to perform, and extent means how many. See, extent is you can able to understand. Extent means nothing but how much sample I have to determine. So sample is less here in our example because our internal control system is strong. Timing is nothing but when you want to do it, that's simple. And nature, see, when you think that the risk is very less or controls are very strong, then you will do a general, perform a general audit procedures, okay now. But you will, when you assess internal controls are very weak or inherent risks are very high, in short, when risk of material misstatement is very high, then you will perform complex audit procedures and try to obtain conclusive audit evidence. Okay, now fourth point is coordination of work. Coordination of work. So coordination of work is what, Nana? See, there are many audit staffs working, okay now. There are many audit staff working in a particular audit assignment. See, the audit partner and or the manager will allocate different tasks to different audit staff personnel. So all audit staff personnel should coordinate their work to the manager and keep updating him, so that the manager can have a proper review of the work and proper supervision. And why coordination of work is very important? Because see, you all know we will follow debit and credit rule, that is a double entry rule, okay na. If one particular audit personnel has been given a task of doing the audit of purchases, and one has been given a task of doing the audit of the creditors, and one has, the person who has allocated to do the job near purchases has found any fraud or error, then he must coordinate the work so that the person who is doing the audit of creditors will be get alerted that there is certain fraud bulk. Why I am saying creditors and purchases? Yes, as you all know, creditors and purchases have a link. We will do purchases from creditors only now. So like that, coordination of work is very important. I hope you understand, my dear students. Once again, please by heart it, knowledge of client's accounting system, policies and internal control system, determining extent of reliance on client's internal control system, determining NTE of audit procedures and coordination of work, my dear students. Okay, now let us go. Third point is, plan shall be assessed and revised during course of audit whenever it is necessary to make it updated. What did I just say? Once again, plan shall be assessed and revised during course of audit whenever it is necessary to make it updated. So before starting the audit, you had made the audit plan. So it is not that once you had finished making audit plan, that is only what you need to execute and go away. No, audit plan is a task you are doing before entering into the audit area scenario. When you enter into the audit area, you may find different things or new things which have not thought while preparing plan, and hence depending upon such new things you need to revise your plan and revise your executions. And plan shall be assessed. Whenever you find any new things, new circumstances, or different things, plan shall be assessed and revised during the course of the audit whenever it is necessary to make it updated. The fourth point is very star point. It is as per SA 300. SA 300. SA means standards on auditing. As per SA 300, planning of audit of financial statements. Planning of audit of financial statements. So how to prepare the plan of an audit is dealt in SA 300. It means SA 300 gives the guidance to us means auditors, how to plan an audit bulk. So what does the SA 300 is saying? As per SA 300, planning of audit of financial statements, audit plan is not a discrete phase, rather a continual and a iterative process that often begins shortly after completion of previous audit and continues till the completion of the current audit engagement. Sir, I didn't understood anything. Definitely, I will make you understand. Very, very important point, Nana. This is okay, na. So, audit plan is not a discrete phase. I'll explain that sentence now. Audit plan is not a discrete phase. See, Nana, discrete is nothing but discrete बोले तो a particular phase. Okay ना, discrete means a particular task. When it is accomplished, then it is over. There is no continuity of it. Okay, are you able to understand? Discrete means just being at one place. Okay, then the continuity is not there for such particular task or action or event. So SA 300 wants us to explain that audit plan is not a discrete phase. Okay, na, when you prepare an audit plan, that is not a concluded audit plan and it is not a discrete phase, rather a continual and iterative phase. Continual means the audit plan may be revised up till the audit report has been issued for a particular audit assignment. Iterative is nothing but repetitive process, repeated process. Okay, na. So audit plan is not a, please mark it important because you need to understand this definition and write in the examination as it is. Audit plan is not a discrete phase, rather a continual and iterative process. Okay, very easy, don't worry. That often begins shortly after completion of previous audit. What is that, sir? See, a particular audit of a financial statements of an entity relating to a particular financial year has been ended. Okay, now the next financial year has been started and the business is carrying on its business as it is. Now what happens is, in the current scenario, the auditors are doing audit as and when the business is progressing in the current scenario using certain computer programs. Okay, so what happens is, our audit plan for the particular financial year begins when such financial year actually begins. So auditor keeps a view on all operations of the company when the financial year starts up to the financial year end, so that he can draft a nice audit plan to do the audit of the FS of such a financial year. And hence he is saying that it begins shortly after completion of previous audit. As we completed this audit, now next year we have to do audit. So this audit completed ke paschat. So after this audit, then whatever processes the company will follow, we will have a look upon it so that we can prepare a audit plan. So audit plan begins shortly after completion of previous audit and continues till the completion of the current audit engagement. Okay, na. So to keep the view on all the business processes which have been incurred during a year, so audit plans begins shortly after completion of the previous audit and continues till the completion of the current audit engagement or assignment. So once again, my dear students, I will repeat it. As per SA 300, planning of audit of FS, audit plan is not a discrete phase, rather a continual and iterative process or phase that often begins shortly after the completion of the previous audit and continues till the completion of the current audit engagement. Current audit engagement. Current audit engagement. Now, okay, my dear, I think you are able to understand. See, video is going for a long period. Don't worry, be patient and please listen to it. Okay. Patience is a key for success. Now, audits. Let us start audit strategy. As you all know, our chapter heading is what? Audit strategy, audit plan, and audit program. The second word we have first dealt with, that is audit plan. What are the aspects to be covered? What is the definition of audit plan as far as the 300 etc. we have learned. Now it is time to learn the second term, that is what is audit strategy. Okay, now let us start, my dear students. Now, audit strategy. Auditor shall establish overall audit strategy which sets out scope, timing, and direction of audit. The process of establishing audit strategy begins after the completion of risk assessment procedure. So, the lining, whatever a line have wrote, no, these four lines, very important, Nana. This is the definition of audit strategy, which you shall not alter it. You need to write it as it is. So please, I will repeat it again. Keep in the mind afterwards, after seeing the video also, you can learn it properly. Okay, now after making you read it properly, I will definitely explain what is audit strategy. Auditor shall establish overall audit strategy which sets out a scope, comma, timing, and direction of audit. The process of establishing audit strategy begins after completion of risk assessment procedures. So, what is audit strategy and what is the audit plan? Audit plan you have understood. Okay, now why we prepare an audit plan, how to prepare an audit plan. Now, audit strategy you need to know. See, he's saying that is an overall auditor shall establish overall audit strategy which sets out scope, timing, and direction. See, scope is nothing but up to how much extent a particular auditor shall do the audit of an entity. Okay, now so in an audit strategy, see in audit plan, what are the four things? You need to consider, you have considered in audit strategy. What you need to consider, I am saying you now, so please listen. What is S? Scope means what, my dear? How much, up to what extent? I cannot say for example a particular entity has 100 branches. Okay, now as an auditor I should do 100 branches auditing, or just a 50, or I should do 40. So that scope I will determine. Now what is timing? You all know about the timing. A particular audit procedure, at what time I need to perform, okay, or at what time I shall not perform. A particular strategy you need to determine, and a direction of audit, See, sir, I didn't understand about timing. There also you said timing, nature, time, and extent. What is timing? I will give an example of timing. See, students, what happens is, for example, you want to do audit of fixed assets, and you all know that management will definitely do the valuation of fixed asset as on 31st March, on every financial year ending. So when the management is doing the valuation of fixed assets, come on, you need to reach the place where the management is doing the valuation of fixed assets for the end of the particular financial year. Sir, we'll do audit after the preparation of FS. That is the next financial year you will do somewhere near to July, June. Why are you going to do audit on 31st March itself, my dear? See, on that day, the management is, what management is doing? It is valuing the fixed assets. So you need to be physically present there and understand the process adopted by management to value the fixed assets, and verify whether such process is accurate or not, and recommend if there need changes are required in such process. Okay, if any changes are required in such process, please recommend them. And likewise, you need to do the valuation of fixed assets not only for inventory and also cash counting also. Okay, my dear students. So that is the example of timing. So timing is you need to do at the financial year ending, not at June, July, the regular one. Okay. So the audit strategy sets out the scope, timing, and direction of audit. Direction is step by step. first what we have to do, second what we have to, third what we have to do. A proper systematic approach for audit it will set out. The process of establishing audit strategy begins after completion of risk assessment procedures. Oh my dear sir, what is a risk assessment procedures? See, I will make a separate video on risk assessment procedures. It is very interesting topic. But if you don't know about risk assessment procedures, a brief hint I will give for it. Risk assessment procedure is nothing but, I said initially, no, every business has certain inherent risk. To mitigate the inherent risk, it keeps internal controls. So risk assessment procedures are the procedures followed by the auditor in order to determine or assess how much of a risk is situated in a particular financials of an entity, how much is the inherent risk and how much is the internal control weakness. So depending upon that risks, he will alter his nature, timing and extent of audit procedures, his reliance upon internal controls, etc., and the sampling also. Okay, so the audit strategy is prepared. Why after risk assessment procedures? Okay, why? Because after risk assessment procedure, because you only see scope, timing and direction, the audit strategy is determining. After assessing the risk only, no, based upon the risk you will keep the NTE, you will keep the NTE of the audit procedures. Sampling you will keep. For example, after performing the risk assessment procedures, you have assessed the risk of material misstatement in the financial statements of the entity as high. Then definitely your nature, timing, extent of substance to audit procedures will be complex or high. Sampling you will take more. So it is influencing your audit work. And scope, timing and direction. Scope is nothing but the audit work, no, how much you have to do. So definitely scope is, you can determine scope after knowing the risk, you can determine timing after knowing the risk and even the direction. And definitely, once again sir, auditor shall establish an overall audit strategy that sets out STD बोले तो scope, timing and direction of the audit. The process of establishing audit strategy begins after completion of risk assessment procedure. Now next one is assistance to auditors. Assistance to auditor is nothing but how preparation of audit strategy assists the auditor, helps the auditor. Okay, na? First one is, it audit strategy helps the auditor in how allocation of manpower to specific audit area based on evaluation of complexities. So audit strategy is giving you an idea of scope. Scope is nothing but how much of audit work to be done, what are the audit procedures to be kept, what is the sampling to be done. So based upon that, you will able to know how allocation of manpower to be done. See, manpower, some are very brilliant staff, some are not such brilliant. So after doing risk assessment procedure, you will know which areas are having more risk, which areas are having less risk. So based upon that, areas having more risk, you will keep brilliant manpower, or less risk you will keep just a normal staff accountants. Like that, allocation of manpower idea you will get. So how allocation of manpower to specific audit areas based on the evaluation of their complexities of such audit areas. Okay na? Now the number of persons and time allotted to specific audit area. Now you know in which audit area how much work to be done based upon the risk assessed by you. So how many number of persons I have to allocate to a particular audit area. For example, fixed assets risk is more. If I assess it, I will keep more number of persons there. And if the purchases or expenditures risk is less, I'll give less number of persons there. And time, at what time, ante after audit of purchases I will do fixed assets, or after audit of that I will do this, that is called timing, proper timing. The number of persons and time allotted to specific audit area, expected starting date of specific audit area. So you need to see now sales audit. So when the sales audit will be started, so that expected starting date you will write there. See sir, on the 21st, for example today is 21st, 21st I am doing the audit of fixed asset, maybe 22nd I am doing inventory, and after doing these two I want to do sales. So 24th is the expected starting date of sales. Like that, a proper strategy or systematic order. So expected starting date of a specific audit area. Now Coordination, coordination of work. I explained coordination, direction, and supervision of resources. As an audit partner, as the head of the audit team, you need to coordinate all your staff. You give a direction, means guidance to all your staff, and supervision of resources. Supervision means reviewing their work, whether they are following properly or not, they are doing work as per accounting standards of auditing or not, as per your guidance or not, you need to review their work. So coordination, direction, and supervision of resources. Expected timing of a audit meeting and periodicity of a meetings to discuss and review the status of work completed by engagement team. It means before going performing an audit, as an audit partner or an audit head leader, you will okay decide how many meetings to be held in between the audit. Wiser meetings to be held in between the audit to review the status of the work of the all the audit staff. So for example, you want to hold a meeting after the completion of the sales and purchases audit. So sales and purchases audit have been done with, then you are holding an meeting so that review the work done. After inventory fixed assets, you want to again one more meeting, you are holding such meeting, so review the work of audit staff, okay, whether they are doing properly or not. Chalo, understood now? Periodicity means number of audit meetings to be held and a timing of audit meeting. I said no timing when to do, after these two, one, these two, like that. So expected timing of audit meeting and periodicity of meetings to discuss and review the status of the work completed by the engagement team. Location of audit meetings, even the location near the client's place only, or near our audit firm, etc. Location of audit meetings. So these six things are to determine the six things. Audit strategy plays a very key role. Very very important question, my dear students. Please try to learn it. Once I will read it fast. Okay. Afterwards also you can pause the video and read it, or afterwards after hearing whole video also you can read it. Okay, now how allocation of manpower to specific audit area based on evaluation of complexities. The number of persons and time allotted to specific audit area. Expected starting date of a specific audit area. Coordination, direction, and supervision of resources. Expected timing of audit meeting and periodicity meetings to discuss and review the status of work completed by engagement team. Location of audit meetings. Location of audit meetings. Location of audit meetings. Okay? Understood, my dear? Factors to consider to develop overall audit strategy, my dear students. The next one is factors to develop overall audit strategy. See, sir, audit strategy, what it sets out, how it as this auditor we have dealt with. Now, what are the factors which as an auditor you need to consider to develop an audit strategy? Okay, chalo, we will understand such factors. Identify the characteristics of engagements to define its scope. And as I all said, scope is nothing but how much of audit work to be done, more or less. Okay, now identify the characteristics of engagement. Engagement nothing but audit engagement. Okay, na? So audit engagement based after performing risk assessment procedures, you will get an idea how much risk is associated with a particular financial statements. So based on that, you will identify the features of such a particular audit assignment or audit engagement characteristic, that it is highly risky or very less risky. So as I assess highly risky, definitely our scope will be very wider, ante our NTE will of audit procedures will be complex, our samples will be more. So hence our characteristics of engagement to define its scope. So we need to identify the characteristics of engagement to define our scope. Characteristics of engagement nothing but the risk assessment procedures, my dear students. In detail how to assess risk also I will explain in one more video, that is chapter 4 if you don't know. Second one is ascertain the reporting objectives to plan the timing of audit and nature of communication. Once again, ascertain the reporting objectives to plan the timing of audit and nature of communication. So what is reporting objectives? As if you know about company audit in the Companies Act 2013, in section 143, so if you don't know it, don't worry. See, in section 143 they will give some reporting objectives. Okay, what reporting objectives? That means those they will give certain matters, they have given certain matters in the section where as an auditor you need to compulsorily report about it. For example, internal controls are effective or not, you need to report it about it in your where in your audit report. And if there are any personal expenditures recorded in the financial statements, if yes, you need to report it in your audit report. Okay, or if there are any investments made by the engagement, okay, in any other securities which are high risky, if yes, you need to report it about them. So these are the reporting objectives is based upon the statute or the laws and regulations applicable to the entity. So we need to ascertain the such reporting objectives to plan the timing of audit and nature of communication. How to communicate? Nature of communication means how to communicate it to the shareholders in our audit report. Okay na? So it is also very important or not na? So reporting objectives as per statute you need to compulsorily report it, otherwise you will be penalized. Okay na? Ascertain the reporting objectives to plan the timing of audit and nature of communication. Third one is consider the results of preliminary activities. Consider the results of preliminary activities. Sir, what are the preliminary activities? We go before performance or before start checking the transactions of a financial statements, we need to perform risk assessment procedures. You all know or not? Yes, in risk assessment procedure, by performing you will get one result, either the risk is high or low. See, that result you need to consider in order to perform the further audit work. Okay na, it is definitely influencing our next work, okay na, of auditing, and hence we need to consider the result of preliminary activities in order to plan our audit work. The scope of our audit work, sampling, NTA, which influenced by such risk assessment procedures. So preliminary activities are nothing but that, most probably. So consider the results of preliminary activities. So we are considering the results of preliminary activities while preparing an audit strategy. Fourth one is whether the knowledge gained. 1 minute. This is the fourth point. Yeah, whether the knowledge gained on the other engagement by the engagement partner is relevant to entity. It means in your audit firm there are many partners. You are a partner, you went for audit for suppose X company, X limited, and the other audit partner of your firm went for a audit of Y limited. For example, X and Y limited, both companies are belongs to same industry, and one partner, the partner of Y limited, has found certain fraud or errors or okay something material in his engagement. Then such knowledge may also help you to do the audit of your assignment, because both the companies are relating to same industry. So whether the knowledge gained on the other engagement by the engagement partner is relevant to entity, you need to consider. Okay, now that is not compulsory. Ascertain the nature, extent and timing of resources necessary to perform engagement. Ascertain the nature, extent, timing of resources necessary to perform engagement. So at last, as we all know, based upon all these things, we will design our audit procedures, nature, timing and extent. And not only of audit procedures, nature, timing and extent, also resources are nothing but audit staff, my dear students. Okay, don't get confused. Ascertain the nature, extent, timing of resources necessary to perform engagement. अरे सॉरी फॉर द डिस्टर्बेंस बच्चों, नेबर में थोड़ा गलती हो गई थी. चलो हम किधर थे? या whether the knowledge, okay हो गया था ना, ascertain the nature, extent and timing of resources necessary to perform the engagements. So these 5 points are very important. Once again, my dear students, please repeat after me once again. Okay, please repeat after me. Factors to consider to develop overall audit strategy are five, my sir. Identify the characteristics of engagement to define its scope. Ascertain the reporting objectives to plan the timing of audit and nature of communication. Consider the results of preliminary activities. Okay, consider the results of preliminary activities. 1 minute, sorry. Consider the results of preliminary activities. Whether the knowledge gained on other engagement by the engagement partner is relevant to entity, and ascertain the nature, extent and timing of resources necessary to perform engagement. Okay, very good, my dear students. Now the next question is knowledge of client business. Initially, while discussing the audit plan, I have said obtain the knowledge of internal controls, accounting policies, accounting system. Okay, now and I've also said that we need to obtain the knowledge of the client's business, etc. Now, my question to all of you that array by understanding what see you are saying sir to understand client's business, okay, but how I need to understand, I'm not able to get a guidance upon it. Don't worry, my dear student. Essay 315, that is identifying and assessment of a risk of a material misstatement by understanding the entity and its environment, including its internal controls. This is essay 315 heading actually. He is giving you a guidance on obtaining the knowledge of client's business. So as per essay 315, if you understand, if you make understanding of the following 6 points, that is 6 things, then it is assumed that you have got the knowledge of the whole entity. So what are those 6 points, simple points? By obtaining understanding of it, it is assumed that you have obtained understanding of whole entity. Let us start. The first point is, to understand the entity, you need to understand about the relevant industry to which the entity be, belongs, comma, regulatory body, the regulatory body which regulates the entity. For example, you are a company, then Companies Act 2013 will regulate you. SEBI, if you are listed company, SEBI will regulate you. If you are a bank, RBI will regulate you. If you are an insurance company, IRDAI will regulate you. And external factors including AFRFW. The first point is you need to understand which relevant industry it belongs to, who is a regulatory body, and external factors including AFRFW. Sir, what is AFRFW? Applicable Financial Reporting Framework. Sir, what is applicable financial reporting framework? I will give example, you will get understanding. For example, you are a company, then you need to prepare financial statements as per the pro forma given in the Schedule 3 of the Companies Act. So as per the Schedule 3, whatever terminology in the financial statement has been used, whatever the pro forma is given, the same to same you need to use, otherwise you will be penalized. That is called as AFRFW. You as an auditor, you need to know for a particular entity what kind of AFRFW is applicable. So relevant industry, regulatory body and external factors including AFRFW. The second one is the nature of entity. After knowing that, the second step is to understand the nature of entity. So nature of entity, how I will understand the nature of entity? By understanding the three things which are right to you. These three things you can able to determine the nature of entity. First one is operations. What are the operations performed by the entity? Second, ownership and governance structure. What is the ownership and governance structure? For example, in a company, first there is those charged with governance, then there are board of directors, then there are other officers. Okay, na? So that is the governance structure. And what are the authorities at the different stages of governance structure? You need to know definitely. And lastly is capital structure. Capital structure is nothing but Financing, how the entity is financed. From equity shares it is financed, or from debentures also, from preference, or any government grants, etc. So operations, very important analysis. Operations, ownership and governance structure, also capital structure, how it is financed. After knowing the first two, the third one, the auditor need to evaluate accounting policies, whether appropriate or not. If they are appropriate, consistently applied or not to entities AFRFW. So auditor need to evaluate the accounting policies are opted by the entity, see whether such accounting policies are appropriate to the nature of the business of the entity, and if yes, they are being consistently applied during the last financial statements also or not, you need to see. And if at all there is a deviation from the last financials to these financials, a proper reason has been disclosed in the notes to account or not, you need to see. Okay, na? Then fourth one is entity. Entities objectives, you need to know what. See, each and every entity will definitely have some objectives. In SM you will know, no, strategic management, what are the objectives, what is the mission statement, what is the vision statement. Those are all the dreams of entities there, where they want to reach. Objectives, and what are the achievements the entity want to reach such achievements, what are the strategies prepared by it. And after knowing the objectives and strategies, what are the business related risks. See, why strategies are prepared. Strategies are prepared to achieve the objectives of the entity by defeating the business related risks. See, every business, as I already said, will be inherited with certain risks. So we need to at one point we need to achieve our objective. At the same time, we need to mitigate the risk also. So that's why a proper strategy is made by the entities. Now, as an auditor, by knowing their objectives, strategies, and business related risks, is also obtaining, is part of obtaining the knowledge of the entity. Now, fifth one is measurement and a review of financial performance. Measurement and a review of financial performance is nothing but how financially sound the entity is, how it is performing based upon the profit or loss in the P&L statement, you can determine. So measurement and review of financial performance of the entity. And last sixth point is following matters also you need to understand. The following matters is divided into 1 minute, my dear. Following matters is divided into three things: A, B, C. Point A is number of offices are there for an organization, how many number of branches and factories are located for the organization. So you need to know how many number of offices you have in worldwide, how many number of branches you are operating with, how many factories you have. Second point is list of officers actually, and key man persons. Give the list of all the officers and key managerial persons of your organization. List of related parties and significant transactions with them. So who are all the related parties to your entity, and give the information about the transactions incurred with them. So if you all know about these six things, then it is assumed that an auditor has obtained the knowledge of the client's business. Okay, na? As I said, no, by obtaining client's business knowledge, you can able to determine the scope, you can able to determine the inherent risk. See the point number 4, business related risk. The business related risk is known to management. Management know what the risk related to their business. So just asking the management to give the statement, give the listing, or give the paper where you have listed all your business related risks. So based upon that, you can plan your audit also. So these are the 6 points. Once I will repeat fastly: relevant industry, regulatory body, and external factors, including a for FW, the nature of entity. To know it, we need to know operations, ownership and governance structure, capital structure. Auditor need to evaluate accounting policies, whether appropriately or not, consistently applied or not, entities, objectives, strategies, and business related risk. You need to know measurement and review of financial performance. Following matters: A, B, C, number of offices, branches, and factories. You need to know what are the list of officers and key managerial persons, and list of related parties and significant transactions with them. Now next one is sources. Yes, sir. What are the sources? See, I have said these are the 6 points you need to gather information to know the now have the knowledge of the client's business. But what are the sources through which you can obtain the above knowledge is given here. There are many sources. The first one is annual report to shareholders. So the company will prepare annual report to shareholders, nothing but annual return, my dear, where all the particulars as on the financial ending shall be there related to the business. So seeing that, you can obtain the many information. For example, how number of officers and key managerial persons you can know as on the ending date of financial year, number of offices, branches and factories you can know. Okay na, any related party transactions you can identify, accounting policy deviation you can identify, etc. Now by mom is nothing but here minutes of meeting of a general and board meeting. So seeing the minutes of meeting of general and board meeting, you can see the resolutions passed. Okay now, what are the strategies made, objectives made. Okay, resolutions passed relating to many matters of changing accounting policy, whatever it might be. Then third one is internal financial management reports, example MIS and EIS. Okay na, MIS and EIS reports are there. No, you will read about it in a EIS. Okay na, very simple it is. Internal financial management reports ante whenever management wants to review the work performed by the entity, they will gather the data up to certain date and they will review the work. Next one is previous audit working papers. Okay now, so previously suppose there was another auditor and now you are the auditor. What are the audit working papers gathered by that auditor in the previous audit, that also forms a good information source. And discussion with the client is by discussing with the client also you can obtain the knowledge of their business, obviously. And publications. So these are the sources you need to generally write. You can write it on your own also. Okay. Next, audit is continuous process. Explain. Audit is continuous process. Explain SA 300. See, I have said no. Audit plan is a iterative process, a continuous process. Okay now, it is not a discrete phase. It starts. It will complete whenever the audit gets completed. Okay now, so that we are going to deal detailedly now. Okay, now SA 300 following mat SA 300, no, it gives the guidance about auditor relating to how to plan an audit of a financial statements. Yeah, following matters are included in planning. So as per SA 300, we are in detail studying SA 300 now, my dear students. Okay na, be focused. Following matters are included in planning. What are the following matters which are included in planning? We will do. First one is understanding the legal and regulatory requirement and how the entity complying with the legal framework. So following, these are the matters you are included in planning. So while planning for these matters, you will plan how to do the audit procedures bulky. Okay na, now in the planning, first aspect to be covered by you is understanding the legal and regulatory requirement and how the entity complying with the legal framework. As you all know, if not only do checking the accuracy of the financial statement, but also we need to check how of so far the entity is complying with the applicable laws and regulations. So because if you neglect such that thing, then your audit risk will be increased. As an auditor, you will be penalized or you will be punished. So you need to also check whether what is the legal and regulatory requirement of a particular entity and how far it is complying with it. Okay now, it is very very important, otherwise you will be penalized. And it definitely affects the going concern of entity, and you have to make aware of it with the shareholders of the entity. So understanding the legal and regulatory requirement and how the entity complying with the legal framework, we have to plan about it. Second, on what topic I need to plan is analytical procedures to be applied. Analytical procedures, we have a separate standard upon it, but if you don't know, I'll give a brief upon it. Analytical procedure, for example, you are doing an audit of sales, my dear students, and current year sales are suppose 1 lakh. Example, that is 1 lakh, and last year sales, for example, it was 90,000. Okay, 90,000. Now you only and one, and please assume that the business or the entity to whose audit you are doing has not made any changes in the scale of its operations, and it is working on the same capacity. Okay, now you only say last year sales 90,000, this year 1 lakh. Is there any huge variation? No, there's not a huge variation. And definitely there might not be any material misstatement in the sales. I'll give the vice versa example. Current year sales again 1 lakh. Last year sales there were 5 lakhs. And again assuming the entity is working on the same capacity. Now you only say the variation is high. This time the sales have been shown very less. Then you as an auditor shall be very careful now while checking the sales transactions, because they, as you all know, there is huge variation. You may be thinking that there is a high risk inherent in the sales. Any fraud or error has been committed by the management, and you need to identify that. So that is called as analytical procedures. Likewise you will do for in many assertions, and there are many procedures to do it. We will discuss later detailing analytical procedures to be applied. Now third one is determination of a materiality as per SA 320. Now, standards on auditing 320 talks about materiality. Materiality is nothing but a number. Number. What is number, sir? It helps in doing sampling actually. For example, again you want to do the audit of sales, then they in front you have 1,000 invoices. You will not check all the 1,000 invoices, as you all know. You will keep a benchmark. Benchmark is nothing but you will keep like this, means any sale invoice whose value is increasing more than 10,000, I will check those invoices only. Any sales whose invoice value is less than 10,000, I will not check it, I will leave it off. So that 10,000 is nothing but a materiality number. So above 10,000 transactions only you are going to check, so that you can gather certain samples from it. So that is called as materiality. You will also detailedly learn about it in SS320. The need of experts assistance, the other risk assessment procedures to be performed. Experts assistance means sometimes you don't know how. See, there are very different kinds of complex machineries used in big companies or big factories. You don't have knowledge about such machineries, then you will use an expert who has the knowledge to about of understanding the process performed by such machinery, and he can only make a proper valuation of it. So he will hire certain experts, and the other risk assessment procedures to be performed is are the topics on which you need to make a plan in audit planning as per SA 300. Once again, please read the 5. Understanding the legal and regulatory requirement and how the entity complying with the legal framework, analytical procedures to be applied, determination of materiality as per SA 320, the need of experts assistance, the other risk assessment procedures to be performed. Now, audit strategy. Audit strategy and audit planning are the responsibilities of auditor. Auditor's ultimate responsibility. See, preparation of audit strategy and preparation of audit plan are the responsibility of auditor. Yes or no? Yes, sir. And the ultimate responsibility is of auditor only. Why? Because auditor may involve following personnel in audit planning. See, auditor himself alone cannot prepare an audit plan. He will take the assistance of his entity's personnel and a client's staff, or his own audit firm staff and engagement team members. But he is taking just assistance of them, but not that the responsibilities got shifted to the entity's personnel or engagement team members. Even though they are engaged in planning, it is only the responsibility of the audit partner of audit strategy and audit planning. And if audit strategy audit planning is not prepared, then audit is not assumed to be done properly, and then he may be penalized. Okay, na? So as per SA 300, ultimate responsibility of audit strategy and audit planning is of whom, sir? Auditor. Okay. Auditor may involve following personnel in audit planning. So who are the persons he can involve? He can involve entities personnel and engagement team members. Let us first read about entities personnel. How we can engage entities personnel? No, he can engage entities personnel in audit planning Audit or discuss plan with management for proper audit. Yes, an auditor can discuss the plan with management for proper audit. Yes or no? Yes, sir. Help of staff in certain areas. He can take the help of the client staff in certain areas to design the audit plan. Recognize the fact that a discussion of a detailed audit plan is makes the audit ineffective. Auditor conducts are predictable. Surprise check not to be discussed. See, what I am saying is, yes, as an auditor, you can discuss the audit plan with the entity's personnel, the management. Okay, now you all know the employees of the entity may cheat the management and commit many frauds. So management wants to catch hold of such employees. Okay, now and who is better person to help the management in such cases? We the auditor, and hence we can discuss the audit plan with the management so that we can build more effective audit plan because management knows more better about their entity, so they will definitely assist us in catch holding of fraud, and else the audit plan can be discussed by them and also certain other employees. But one more thing I'm saying, if you discuss in detail the whole audit plan, then definitely management, if at all they have any committed fraud, then they will be get alerted, they will be got alerted. Okay, and they will not then you will not be able to catch hold the fraud committed by the management. Okay, na? So you should not discuss in detail with them, otherwise whatever work which is to be performed by you will be predictable, and they will be trying to, okay, escape from you. Okay, na? So please don't do that. Do up to certain extent, that is okay. Surprise check bole to means certain, suppose you want to check the cash balance, you should not inform the management before coming to visit their place to in order to do cash counting. Otherwise they will arrange some things and deceive you. Suddenly you need to come visit the management place or entity's place, business place, and suddenly you have to ask them, please show me the cash balance, I will count now itself. In such situation they may not plan anything and you may catch all the fraud. So that is called a surprise check. So please don't discuss the surprise check, otherwise the management will be very cautious enough. Now obviously audit plan can be discussed with the engagement team members and our audit staff also. Include key engagement team members, the key persons who are knowledgeable persons you can include of your team. Ensure allocation of audit areas depending upon the capabilities and experience of members. Likewise, in audit planning, you also allocate the manpower to different specific audit areas. Even though above are included, ultimate responsibility of auditor. Even though the above two personnels are included in the process of audit planning, ultimate responsibility is of auditor. And if at all plan is not prepared, we will not blame the engagement team member or the entity personnel. We will blame only the auditor who has been assigned with the task of auditing a particular assignment. Okay, na? That is the clarity I wanted to give. Okay, this is over, finished. Now auditor need, yeah, auditor shall change the overall audit strategy and audit plan whenever it is necessary. Okay, na? No, auditor shall change the overall audit strategy and audit plan whenever it is necessary. As said before, only that audit plan is not a discretion phase; it is a continued phase. So, depending upon the change in events, change in conditions, information which came to auditor knowledge during the audit is different information available at the time of planning. Okay, na? These are the reasons for change. If these three things occurs, then you need to definitely revise audit plan, revise audit strategy depending upon the new conditions. Audit plan should be dynamic and offer. Sir, one question: if I will not change, what happens? If you will not change, definitely your audit will be not effective. No, you will not able to catch all the frauds or errors committed, and ultimately you will all, whenever the government or any other statutory body um, catch holds of the company performing any fraud and asks you, a company has performed this much fraud and you were not able to catch hold of it, why, what happened, bolke they will also penalize you. So you need to be very careful, you have to perform it, okay na, very diligently, very carefully, and with very much integrity. Okay na, don't get corrupted there. Okay, sincere request, because you will only get penalized, and there are many auditors daily. We will see at least in a regular time, news will be coming that a particular auditor has been arrested, or he has been suspended, or the ICA has cancelled his CA registration number. All your mehnat will go into vain, my dear students. Okay na? See, I know that all want money, but earn it fairly. Okay na? Fair money always called as Lakshmi. Okay, not the unfair money, the black money, you shall never encourage. Okay. So again, so auditor shall change overall audit strategy and audit plan whenever it is necessary. So what are the situations where I need to revise, my dear students? Bolo. Yes, reason for change is first one, unexpected events. If auditor faces any unexpected events, then he need to revise it. Change in conditions. Okay, he need to revise this. Information which came to auditor's knowledge during the audit is different information available at the time of planning. At the time of planning, you are thinking something, but whatever you have thought while preparing the plan is different from what is there while doing the audit. Then definitely you need to revise the audit plan and audit strategy, my dear students. Now, next one is eighth one is auditor shall include in the overall audit strategy and audit plan periodical review of audit procedures performed by engagement team. So auditor shall include in the overall audit strategy and audit plan whatever I am preparing, periodical review of audit procedure performed by engagement team. See, I have said in coordination of work. In audit plan, fourth aspect was their coordination of work. And also while discussing audit strategy, assistance to auditor, I have said one point, that what is the periodicities of meeting to be held, what is the timing of meeting to be held, to for the review of the work. Okay na? So these are all things that shall also be mentioned in audit plan and audit strategy. Very very important to review the work performed with engagement team, whether they are performing accurately or not. Okay na? And give them directions whenever required. To it ensures whether engagement team is performing an audit as per relevant standards on auditing, and whether work is going in a planned manner or not, obviously. Now this review of the work performed by our audit staff can be done by two members, by an engagement partner, nothing but engagement partner, that is ours, we only, the partner of the audit firm, or the independent reviewer. Sir, who is the independent reviewer? Independent reviewer is a person belonging to audit firm but not to engagement. Belonging to audit firm but not of engagement. It means he is the one of the partner of audit firm only, but he is not the member of the particular audit assignment. See, one audit firm is there, at a time it will perform thousands of audit assignments, because it is a huge partnership firm having many partners. Now, one partner who is not a part of such audit of a particular entity, but as he is a partner of the audit firm, he can also review the work, because he is also a knowledgeable person. So, engagement partner or independent reviewer is a person who is audit partner of the audit firm but not of engagement. Chala. Now, factors affecting extent of direction, supervision, and review. Sir, what is direction, supervision, and review? See, based on the following factors, as an auditor, you will determine how many numbers of meeting to be held, at what point of time the meetings to be held, in which areas I need to give supervision or guidance to my audit staff, etc. things based on the following factors. Okay, now extent means how many meetings I have to hold. Supervision means where, in which audit areas, or when I have to review their work, etc. things. Sir, there is no compulsion that I will held only 10 meetings irrespective of any audit assignment. No. If a particular audit assignment which is very complex, that is, if the risk of material misstatement is very high, then the review of work done by as done by an auditor shall be more, because the risk is more. Audit procedures to be performed will be very complex. The audit staff may not have that much knowledge. Okay, they will have no knowledge but may not have that much experience. Then it is your duty to review their work and supervise them continuously as more as possible, as the audit is becoming very complex. If it is a simple audit and where the risk of material statement is less, then not more than 2 3 meetings are required. But if it is a huge audit, whether there are more number of transactions or there is a huge chance of fraud or error, then definitely the number of meetings to be held, number of times giving supervision, number of times giving their guidance, direction becomes important. So these the following are the factors which are influencing the auditor to determine the periodicity of meetings. The first one is the size and complexity of entity. Obviously, if you are doing small size entities audit, then only 2 3 meetings is enough. But huge entities you are doing, they have many branches, etc. Then you need to review the work of audit staff frequently, and hence more meetings are required. Second one is the areas of audit. A particular area of audit is very crucial or whose risk of material misstatement is very high, then particular area audit personnel shall be reviewed more frequently, shall be guided more frequently. Third one, the assessed risk of material misstatement. That's what I am shouting from that time. The competencies and capabilities of the engagement team. Obviously, if the engagement team is more competent and more capable, then more times reviewing their work is not necessary, right? Okay, na? Supervising their work is not. See, you need to supervise and review, but more times is not necessary when the particular engagement team is experienced or competent and capabilities are very good. Once again, the size and complexity of we can write on own media the areas of audit, the assessed risk of material misstatement, complexities and competencies and capabilities of the engagement team. Next one, need for documentation. 1 minute, my dear students. I am going to explain you actually what is documentation. Okay, na? I'll I will give one example. Example is of my sir actually. My sir name is Kapil sir. Okay, he has given me one example relating to documentation. The same I will discuss with you. What happened is my sir, when he was in articles, he was doing his articles in KPMG, one of the big four, as you all know. What happened is one day the partner or the manager has assigned him the work of checking the internal control. It means he assigned him the work of checking the cameras fixed at the place of fixed assets located in the factory. Okay, na? So, sir, Kapil sir have went there. He has checked the camera whether they are properly working or not, whether they are efficiently working or not. Okay, na? Whether there is a person allocated to see behind the screens from through the cameras, any fraud is going or not. Okay, na? Then he has came to a decision that yes, cameras are absolutely fine. They are working properly, and he has said the same to the partner, sir, cameras are working very nice and hence controls are very good. Now the partner has asked to give the working paper of it. Working paper working paper is nothing but whatever task you have performed. Okay, whatever item you have checked, the same you need to document it. Okay, either virtually or in handwritten. Nowadays, yeah, as you all know, all becomes in computer only, electronic form only. So in electronic form you need to type the same, so that yes, as on this date, as on this time, I have the verified the cameras placed in the fixed assets, and I have obtained this evidence, and as per this evidence I have concluded that they are working perfectly bulky. So that these all things you need to keep on a paper. That is called as documentation, and sir has not done the documentation, and the partner has just slapped the sir, really slapped the sir, and said him that work not documented, not done. Yes, even though you have checked all the invoices and you have came to a conclusion that yes, all is fine, still you have not documented the work, then it will be assumed that you have not done the audit. Okay, nah, that is as far as a 300 I am saying. Why, sir? Why, sir? More effective reason you say why documentation is more compulsory ball case. See, you have done an audit of an entity without documentation and just prepared an audit report and given unmodified opinion. That is absolutely true and fair. The financial statements are. Now, what happened is subsequently a fraud has been identified in a particular entity, maybe by any statutory auditory like income tax or any other statutory body. Now they will approach the auditor who has done the auditing of the financial statements and they have come to you and they have asked you why have you given unmodified opinion because there is a fraud in it. No, why have you given, on what basis you have given unmodified opinion, how you didn't catch this fraud, then what you will show to them? Audit report? No, no. There is nothing with you to show to them. The proof is not there how much audit you have done, Bolke. Okay, what is the scope? How you assessed the risk? How much sample you have taken? What are the evidence you have obtained? Nothing is there with you because all these things you need to be documented. And hence, when you document this, then only you will show it to the particular person, and then only he will verify those, and he will come to a conclusion that yes, yes, even though auditor has issued unmodified opinion, the audit work performed by him is very diligent, and our working paper is a proof that he has performed it properly only, but because of certain inherent limitations, he has not able to catch such fraud. So working paper always saves you, my dear student. Please, you need to maintain, and hence this essay has made documentation very much compulsory. Now that is only the need we are going to study here. What is the need for documentation? First one is a record of key decisions relating to planning of audit and the communication with the engagement team. The first step in audit you will do planning. So plan also I need to document. Yes, obviously planning also you need to document. The same plan working paper, if the IT department checks and it comes to it checks and it comes to a conclusion that auditor has designed a beautiful audit plan, okay, but still there is, because certain few mistakes he have not find out the fraud, but still I will do, I will leave him. Okay, so audit plan shall also be documented. Evidence that audit is planned and performed as per SA. So, the second need is what, sir? The documentation acts as an evidence that audit is planned and performed as per standards on auditing. I have said no, it acts as an evidence that audit has been performed, is planned and performed as per standards of auditing. The third need is auditor may summarize overall audit strategy in memorandum, audit program memorandum. So what is this audit program? We will discuss later. So by documentation, doing documentation, nothing but writing it, auditor may summarize overall audit strategy. Our audit strategy is very huge, right? We can summarize it properly in written form. Now, auditor shall document what things. I have said now documentation is required. Documentation is required, but which documentation shall be done by auditor has also been given. First, auditor shall document the overall audit strategy. Yes, overall audit strategy which sets out STD shall be documented. The audit plan shall be documented. Any significant changes to the overall audit and audit plan along with the reasons shall be documented, and summary of discussions with entity management shall be documented. Remember, overall audit strategy shall be documented. Overall audit strategy document means here we are documenting scope. Scope means the how much nature, time and extent of audit procedures we are documenting. Timing, when how much how at what timing we are doing it, we are documenting. And directions to be given to the our audit staff, that also we have documented. In audit plan, as you all know, we have covered many aspects in audit plan, uh, that like legal and regulatory requirement, that also documented. Analytical procedures, that also documented in audit plan. Determination of materiality, that also documented. So overall everything is getting documented. Okay, and yeah, if you are making any changes, that also shall be documented along with the reason for change and summary of discussion with entity. If any audit plan is discussed with entity, up to what extent audit plan has been discussed, the same shall be documented. Okay. Now, next one is audit program. Okay, audit program. Sir, what is audit program? I will say you. Before going into the text, I will give you one example. Again, if for example you are the partner or the leader of a particular assignment, and under you there are many audit staff. Now you have allocated work to all the audit staff. Okay, allocation of the work is not after allocation of work. Okay, you need to issue audit programs to them. Sir, I didn't understood. I will say 1 minute. Okay, for example, there are three people. For them, you have assigned a work of doing the audit of fixed assets. Okay, now just like that, saying them to do audit of fixed assets, they cannot able to do it. You need to explain the procedure or the steps to be followed by them in audit of fixed assets. So what you have done, you have taken a paper and step by step you have written all the instructions and the audit procedures to be performed, etc. Step by step you have written in a systematic manner and given to them and asked them to followed to follow such steps while performing the audit and obtain the audit evidence as given in the audit program. So audit program is nothing but a guide given to the audit staff by the audit partner for performing the audit of a specific audit area. Okay na? Chalo. Now we will come to the meaning. Series of verification procedures. Okay. Applied to financial statements and accounts to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. SNAE means sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. Implementation guide of audit plan with instruction. Okay na? So series of verification procedures apply to FSN accounts to obtain SNAE. I said no, instructions are given step by step. So audit program contains all the series of verification procedures. We will do verification, no? All the verification, what are the procedures step by step to be followed to verify the financial statements in order to obtain what? Audit evidence, sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. So it contains step by step audit procedures to be performed. By performing audit procedures, what are the audit evidence to be gathered, etc. will be given there only. So it becomes easy for our article students or audit staff to perform the audit. Series of verification procedures apply to FS and accounts to obtain SA and AAE. Implementation guide of audit plan with instruction. Okay na? So this implementation of guide of audit plan with instruction. So likewise, step by step the audit staff shall implement it. Second one is detailed plan to apply audit procedures and adopt appropriate techniques. Audit program is a detailed plan. Okay, in detail it is showing you the instructions to be followed, procedures to be applied, and adopt appropriate techniques also there. You all know audit techniques are there. That audit techniques are also reflected there. Audit programs can't be standardized for all the clients as their requirements changes. Yes. Audit program, sir, for a particular entity I have prepared all audit programs. The same I will give to my audit staff in the next entity's audit. No, it depends. It changes depending upon the nature of client, business, and the risk assessed. Okay na? Definitely, yeah. Based on the risk assessor, our audit procedures will be changing. If audit procedures itself will change, how the audit program will remain the same, my dear. Okay na? So once again, it is a series of verification procedures applied to FS and accounts to obtain SNAE. Implementation guide of audit plan with instruction. Detailed plan to apply audit procedures and adopt appropriate techniques. Our audit program can't be standardized for all the clients as per the requirement changes. Now B. Next one. Okay na? Aspects to be kept in mind. Aspects to be kept in mind. Okay na? There are 4 aspects to be kept in mind. Nature, size, and complexity of entity, audit objective with respect to each audit area, dependability of internal controls, ensure that a program in line with the audit plan. Okay. So these are the aspects to be kept in mind before while preparation of audit program to your audit staff. So what are they? Yes, definitely nature, size, and complexity of the entity. Based on that, nothing but see while for determining NT or how much sampling to be done, etc. We have determined already in plan and strategy now. The same considerations we have to take there. Okay now we have studied somewhere see uh, that all things we have to take into consideration like nature, size, and complexity of entity, audit objective with respect to each audit area, dependability on internal controls, ensure that program in line with audit plan. Those are simple points you who I think so far knowledge will help you in writing that points. Okay. What see program is nothing but no, you are writing the audit techniques and audit procedures to be performed by my audit staff to collect the audit evidence. Okay now definitely depends upon the nature of business, size of business, risk of material misstatement, materiality, etc, etc, you can write. Okay now elements of audit program. So what are the elements of audit program? Very important. First one is audit area. I didn't understand, sir. For example, you are preparing an audit program for performing the audit of fixed assets. So you have taken a paper, written in the starting, in the middle of the page, above, you have written the heading. Yeah, audit program for the audit of fixed assets you have written. So that fixed assets is nothing but showing the name of the audit area. Yes or no? Yes. The fixed assets is nothing but the audit area name. Second one is audit procedure technique. Now you have kept the heading. After keeping the heading, now we are writing step by step audit techniques to be performed, step by step audit procedures to be performed by our client while verifying the fixed assets. Third one is allocation of. After writing the process down, you will draw a line and write this about task is to be performed by this, and this uh, audit staff bolke. Okay na. Fourth one is extent of check. Extent of check. These above audit procedures shall be performed on 50 invoices or on 100 invoices. That is called as extent of check. Timing of check. This process, above processes which I have written, shall be done after sales audit or shall be done afternoon tomorrow or whenever I say like that. And sixth one is specific instructions to be followed by engagement team members. Specific instructions will be there given under it that shall be followed by them. Okay now, so once again audit area, okay now audit procedures, techniques, extent they have to check, who allocation of work, timing, and specific instructions to be followed. So these are the elements of audit program. We have to visualize this. I am visualizing and telling you. Okay now, visualize it, my dear. Periodical review of audit program. Periodical review of audit program. Okay now. So, we are reviewing audit plan. We are reviewing overall audit strategy, depending upon the change in circumstances. Don't you think when these two will be changing, this shall also audit program shall also be changed? Definitely. And whatever audit program instructions the audit staff is following, properly or not, you have to review or not. Yes, so continuously update a program, add a new audit area or drop an existing audit area in your audit program. Engagement team shall be proactive in identification of new area. Understood? If the conditions have been changed, then you may add new more audit area in your audit program or remove one audit area. Okay now, or engagement team shall also be proactive in identification of new areas. Simple thing ma. Advantages of audit program. Now very important question, star mark. And what are the advantages of audit program? First advantage is list down areas of audit before commencement. So before commencement of audit, you are listing down all areas of audit. So when you are listing out what are the all areas of audit, it becomes systematic approach to audit, and it will be very comfortable to you. Yes or no? See, if you are learning something, It is you have learned in the mind and kept. It will be not much effective when you learn and then make a short notes of it. Then it will be more effective. Short notes, why it is more effective? See, you can able to understand it properly, right? Whenever, so like that, listing down before audit commences of all areas, definitely it will assist you. Sorry. Allocation of work easier based on capabilities. Now, after all preparation of audit programs, you will now have the idea that which audit area is complex, which is not. So based upon that capabilities, you will definitely allocate the work. Instructions to carry out audit work, definitely contain instructions. Held engagement team responsible for audit engagement, and for one audit program, you are giving an audit program to 3 audit staff members. Then it means you are holding them responsible for the particular audit area. Okay na? Okay na? Now serves as evidence in court of law in providing auditor's case. So audit program is also nothing but part of audit documentation and working paper only. So if any subsequent fraud is found out and the auditor has been sued by the shareholders of not doing perfect audit, then audit programs designed by you, the audit which contains various audit procedures and techniques, definitely if it is very effective, court gets okay, court will definitely save you from the penalty. Okay na? So advantages of audit program, it is a guide for audit of succeeding years also. Listed down the areas of audit before commencement, allocation of work either based on the capabilities, instruction to carry out audit work, held engagement team responsible for audit engagement completion, source as evidence in court of law. Okay, now. No, advantages not only, there are certain disadvantages also. Now let us read the disadvantages. Now the disadvantages are, there are 4 disadvantages, my dear students, of a audit program. So there are, what are those 4 disadvantages? First disadvantages is assistants may feel mechanical and carry out work without understanding. That is, for example, keep you in the position of an audit staff and I am your audit partner. I am giving you the instructions. I given you 10 steps and 10 techniques to be performed in fixed assets. And then you need to perform those 10 only. Okay na? You don't have freedom to perform other than that. Okay, I think you are, see, you are a very knowledgeable person. You may know more better than me, but still you don't have freedom to perform audit procedures thought of you. You have to perform mine only, means mechanically like a robot. In that process you will not able to understand the knowledge, you will not able to understand, get the concept of auditing practically. You are mechanically seeing the steps, doing that, seeing the steps, doing that. You only say that is good or not? No. So assistant may feel mechanical and carry out work without understanding anything. Inefficient to assistants take shelter of, that is assistants, take shelter of audit program. See, suppose you are an efficient guy, you are very knowledgeable person, and your colleague, one more person, is an inefficient guy. He have by hearted the audit paper and he has passed. He don't have any knowledge, okay, in auditing. But still, if he follows the instructions given by audit partner, he has performed a good work. And you are also doing the same. So you are also going performing a good work. Though there is no differentiation between you and him. Are you able to understand? So these inefficient guys will take the shelter of audit program. Audit procedures may be inflexible with respect to changes in a business. See, suddenly any change in business have been observed, then audit program will not be dynamic in nature to revise it. Okay, now there are certain audit partners who are very lazy, who will not do such. Okay, standardized audit program will may kill initiative of efficient assistance. There are many audit firms who have prepared standardized. Yes, as per SA 300, there is no chance of standardized audit program, but still there are some firms who will keep such standards and keep following standards for any type of entity. Okay, na, that is not good. Okay, so standardized audit program kill initiative of efficient assistance. So the efficient assistance, it is a huge drawback for them, and for inefficient assistance it is advantage for them. Okay na. The relationship between audit strategy and audit plan. So what is the relationship between the audit strategy and audit plan? Audit plan, very important. I think you may be having a doubt in difference between audit strategy and audit plan. You will get clarity here. Audit plan, see what does audit plan does? Audit plan addresses various matters identified overall audit strategy. It means now first you will prepare one overall audit strategy. After preparing strategy, scopes, timing, and direction, based upon the strategy, you will prepare an audit plan. How to perform audit bulk. Okay, na? Interrelated process, these both are. Change in strategy leads to change in audit plan and vice versa. Understood? So first we will prepare a plan. Oh, our risk assessed is very high. For example, very high. Then these are the my scope of audit will be definitely high, my timing will be definitely high, my directions, number of supervisions, reviews, periodicity of meetings should be high. Based upon this strategy, high, all I have assessed high, then based on this I will make an audit plan. Now in the audit plan I will decide the number of meetings. Direction high, number of meetings shall be, for example, I will do 20 meetings. Okay, timing is high, I will allot this much timing on this is specific audit areas. And scope is high, I will do more sampling. So that is I will do this much sampling, that much meetings is given in audit plan. Whether it I have to do more or less is given in audit strategy. Okay, no. So that is what is the relationship. So with this, majority part of the second chapter is finished. There is only few things left over. Okay, which shall be completed in the next part of video. Very simple it is. I will finish off. So I hope you enjoyed it, and keep spreading the knowledge, keep sharing the video, and if possible, if you liked it, like the video. Thank you.